All right. Good morning, or good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you are on the planet. This is the Burn the Manual Founders Chat. We do it every week. It goes live on Sunday. We do one shot, no rehearsing, it's raw, real, uncut, whatever the folks are saying nowadays.
hmm
I am broadcasting live from Connecticut. My partner in crime, take it away. Tell them where you are and what's going on with you.
I'm on the East Coast too. I'm in Delaware. Oh my gosh.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm in town for my mom's wedding, so that's fun. I'm adjusting to the time. That's
Yes.
that's where I'm at right now.
Okay. Are you in the wedding?
No, no.
Okay. All right. Oh,
Mm-mm.
okay. Good. So you don't have to go to all those
Yeah,
rehearsals
that's a
and
positive. I'm
yeah.
like, thank goodness I had to just show up.
Yeah, that's always the best thing. Show up, put your gift over in the pile, and go home. Yeah.
Yep, yep.
So, okay, I just want to talk a little bit about just like we do all the time about what's going on with you, what's going on with me, getting settled in. I'll let you start. I'll kick it off to you. Let you start. What's been going on with you since the last time we talked? It's been about a week.
Yeah. So me been spending the last past week literally preparing for the wedding. I got my dress so last minute.
Okay.
It's nice though, but it was I really struggled because I was just so busy and I was like, oh yeah, I need an outfit for this thing. So it was a lot. And then besides that, just like normal work, just kind of taking it day by day. It's so funny because I kind of didn't feel like traveling. Usually I'm very excited about traveling, but I
Mhm.
was very much just like, I was just so comfy at home. And I just traveled in March, and I know that's so long ago, but it seems like it just happened. And I'm just, it's just a lot going on in the world with like
Right.
COVID and monkeypox and all that stuff.
Ugh,
And I'm
yeah.
just like, oh, I want to be in the house.
Yeah. How long ago were you in North Carolina?
Yeah, March.
That was in March? Okay.
Hmm
For some reason, I thought that was last November. It
Yeah,
seemed like a long,
no.
it seemed like a year.
hmm I know.
I know you were in the hills of North Carolina, which I know are very gorgeous, but you were in
hmm
the land of time for God because you couldn't get any calls, you couldn't get any. I said, what is
Yeah.
this?
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I could not live there. It's just there's you have to really kind of be in touch with nature and not have a career that I have, which also includes social media. I
Right.
always wonder how people kind of just go off the grid and live off the grid. Like you
Hmm.
have to be living in like a community where you have everything there and you don't really need it's so weird because I feel like it really tests like my millennial mind because I
Mm.
feel like I'm so in need of technology and people and internet and all of that um that it's so hard to fathom a world or reality where people aren't documenting, filming everything they're doing. They're just living. That's so wild to me.
Mm.
Yeah.
Okay. That is I'm kind of in the middle because
Mm,
I'm almost 30 years older than you. So I'm kind of it's funny. It's like I appreciate that stuff. I appreciate not being plugged in and being able to talk to people and being able to um, connect, right?
mhm.
Without any kind of filler, like without any kind of like buffer, like, oh, we're on this call or we're doing this, or, without checking my phone and somebody checking their phone every couple of minutes. And it's funny, I go back and forth between those extremes because
Mm,
it's when I lived in Detroit, when I lived in New York, I feel like I was around people all the time, right? Because
mhm.
I had a clique of friends, I had buddies, and I was going and stuff. And then it got to the point where I had even got to the point in Detroit and New York both where I would do things by myself all the time too.
Mhm.
Like I like my own companies. I would go. I remember when I lived in Detroit, they had a museum called it's a DIA, Detroit Institute of Arts,
Mm.
and it would show all these foreign films, right? Like I walked up from my house.
Yeah.
I lived in where my little apartment was, my little rat trap apartment, my
Oh
first
yeah.
apartment. And I used to walk, and that was my thing on Sundays. I'm gonna go over here. I'm gonna have like I knew what I was gonna eat, everything, right?
hmm
And it was like a day of me like basically being with myself. And then you
Right.
got to New York, and it was kind of the same thing, except it's 8 million people instead of 500,000 or a
Mm-hmm.
million. And you get used to being around people all the time. But even then, I would find ways like, okay, I was talking about this the other day about going to, which I haven't done in a million years, and I used to love it. I used to go to midnight shows.
Mm-hmm.
Like they have like there was this huge theater in the middle of Times Square, and they had like 40 or 50 screens. And they
Right.
ran movies. They would run them like the last show was at midnight. And I
Oh,
remember
wow.
going to Times Square. I leave my house about 10, whatever, 10:30, getting there and kind of like, and I always love Times Square, right? And then I would go to these, midnight shows. So you get out, it's
Mm-hmm.
2 o'clock. You get home, the trains are running locally and not express, and then it's 3. And you just
Yeah.
kind of like, let's just, and
Yep.
I never felt unsafe. I never felt like, oh, I should be at home. I just kind
Mm-hmm.
of did that. And then I'm trying to figure out how to do that now because now living in Connecticut, it's both, right?
Yes.
There is right where we are, it's a lot of city and it's urban because it's city, but all around us is woods and there's a bear that lives over here near us,
Yeah.
and apparently there's a pack of wild turkeys. I've seen one,
Mm-hmm.
Lolita, and she was sitting on my lawn the other day, and she was sitting on somebody's car last week. But it's real interesting because you can go outside of my house and look like directly on the deck, or go out to
Mm-hmm.
the front of the house and look across the street, and it's all these woods, right? Or
Wow.
you can take a car ride about 2 minutes to get to the main road,
Yeah.
and it's woods on both sides.
Oh my
And it's kind of like
goodness.
what? So, but but that does cause problems with the internet, which I have
Yeah.
been, as you know, I have been fighting with that for the last week and a half. They still didn't get it right. This
Mm.
is my third company I've tried, and now it's working.
Jesus.
But
Yeah.
yeah, it has. So I get it, and I think I don't know. I think as I get older, I want to be in a place or a position where I can have access to both. Because there are times I
Right.
really don't want to be bothered with people.
Yeah.
And it's not that anybody's done anything. I just don't. I need some me time. I need some time to not
Mm-hmm.
have to consider anybody else or manage what they're doing or like you. There are times I really don't want to
Mm-hmm.
be bothered, and then there are times
That's
I want to
how,
be bothered.
yeah, that's how I kind of feel right now, where it's just like, I don't feel like I have equal access to both. I feel like if I want one, I have to kind of take a vacation to get it in a way.
Mhm.
Because even if I don't do anything that revolves being online, I'm still in LA, right? Really big
Mhm.
city that just so many people. And so it's just interesting. I now have to kind of use certain pockets of my time in order to get both and even to get the
Mhm.
nature side and just the let go and no tech side of it. But what my career is so involved in pop culture and so involved
Right.
in what's happening that you kind of always have to be on and always have to be listening. And so you really do have to take these times off on the side to recharge.
Yes. That is the word, recharge, and just
Mm-hmm.
kind of
Yeah.
get your mental faculties together because you can get in the habit of just running.
Yep.
And it's like at a certain point, it's almost as if you're running just to run.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like I always think of that scene from Aliens when she's driving the thing and she's trying to, save the people, and she breaks through this wall, this door, whatever, and she's clearly going on adrenaline, right? And she's got the
Mm-hmm.
gas, and she's just like push, and they have to, and the guy grabs her. He's like, hey, we're okay. Take your foot off the gas.
Yeah.
You're literally like burning. You're taking the metal, and it's like rubbing sparks coming up
Yep.
because you're
Yep.
still, got that foot on the gas. So I definitely understand that. Yeah, it's always about the recharging um, I think taking care of ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
I think many times we are encouraged not to.
Yeah.
We're your generation, you folks um, are about this hustle, grind. Which
Yeah.
I
Mm-hmm.
think there's a time to do that. There's a time to knock it off, right?
Yes.
And I mean, you kind of. I heard this yesterday on another podcast. You need the grind and the push. I think you need it at different times. You need it at the beginning to get something launched and up and running. Like
Yep.
when you launch a spaceship, I saw this guy on the podcast is called Impact Theory, and they're interviewing
Mm.
this guy's named Dean. I think his last name is Graziosi, Graziosi. And he
Okay.
was talking about the momentum you need to launch something or the push to get things going, which is different than
Mm.
maintenance and keeping things kind of afloat.
Yes.
And I think it's important that we understand there's a difference
Mm-hmm.
and we're okay with the difference. And we absolutely demand that people don't put us in those boxes or those ways of being for long, long stretches of time, right? Long
Mm-hmm.
periods of time.
Exactly.
Let me ask you about, so we're kind of caught up. I have been dealing with trying to recreate myself once again.
Mm. Yeah.
I've been talking about an evaluation and some downtime. I really want to do, and we may have talked about this before. I really want to do something with people and their finances
Mm.
because I
Mm-hmm.
think once I started this health journey a couple of years ago, what I realized is that if you have your health and you have your finances handled, everything else you can kind of figure out.
Yeah.
And handled doesn't mean you have all the money in the world or you have Oprah kind of money. It just means it's handled in a way that when something shows up, when life shows up, you can handle.
Mm-hmm.
So my new goal has been trying to figure out how to chip away at that wall, get into that world, and what that looks like. And what does
Mm.
that look like as an entry level person coming in, and how do I attack that? And I've had some really interesting calls. I met with, was on a panel last week with some people from Fidelity, and they were talking about what they do. I thought
Mm-hmm.
this is perfect. This is exactly what I want to do. And
Mm.
then I also talked to some people this week from the health services, and they have a program called Connecticut Money. And they go
Okay.
in and they teach young people, they go all the way from young people all up to retirees about money and finances and how do you plan and how do you make sure things are
Mm.
handled. So I went to, they had a 2 hour intro training, I think a couple of nights ago. Yeah, today's Friday, so it was Wednesday.
Mm.
And it was Wednesday night, and then they had you can actually come see them in action in a class teaching.
Okay.
And I went to a 10 o'clock class this morning and saw them. It was an hour on credit, and it was real quick. It was in and out. So I'm thinking, okay, I'm getting closer, So put
Yeah.
out your good juju for that in terms of
Yes.
me
Yes.
moving into the world of, because I really want to do something that not only helps people with their finances, but helps them help their families. So that they literally change the trajectory of where their family was headed
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
because they've handled their finances and they understand things and they're not up to their eyeballs in credit card debt and
Right.
buying things they can't afford. So
Mm.
that is the goal. We'll see how that works out. It will work out because I'm going to make it work out. As you can
Mm-hmm.
see, I am reading the great Susie Orman's book. This is one of the
Ooh.
few that I haven't read, The Ultimate Retirement
Retirement.
Guide for 50 plus. So we're
Wow.
getting some tips. Well, okay, this has been a great talk. I will wrap it up. Um, my shenanigans got erased. I was going to read this text, but I bought a new phone this
Oh.
week, and all of the text messages didn't transfer for some reason.
Mm.
Some of my contacts didn't transfer. A lot of them did. Some of them didn't. A lot of the text messages I was looking at them thinking, "Oh boy, this is okay." Uh-oh.
Yeah, yeah.
So the quintessential shenanigan text message I do not have to read, so I don't have
Oh
one.
no.
So if you have one, go ahead. If not, that's fine. I have a question I want to ask you. We'll close out with this question. Tell
Hmm.
folks where they can meet us. I'll let you get on with your day and go get dialed up for this wedding.
I know. Real quick shenanigan. I would say, oh, I listened to, so when I'm on an airplane, I always try to listen to music that I either haven't listened to yet or that I haven't really taken the time to appreciate because
Mhm.
you're stuck in a tube and you are just kind of forced to have this experience. So there, so there's this Drake album, right?
Okay.
And it was a lot of people who weren't too happy about it. And I liked it initially. It was a little tough for me to get through on like a casual listen, like in the car or something. But I said, I bet this is really good for like a long plane ride. And so I literally put on the album, and it was the best album for me to listen to on the plane. It wasn't, and I don't know if it's like offensive to say this, but it was like the perfect album in music to where it's not in your face, but it kind of keeps you up, like awake. It's almost like background music, but you're still vibing to it. It was very interesting to experience what I experienced. And because I was kind of in and out of sleep, the album was on repeat like 3 times. So
Okay.
I like really, really got into it. And then as we were making our like hour descent here, I listened to Beyonce's new album, Renaissance, and that was fantastic. And listening
Really?
from it was amazing, really good. Like I was trying to dance in my seat. And so going from Drake's album to Beyonce's album, all in this really long flight, was really like the perfect mashup of music for me. So yeah, that was there. I don't know if it's a shenanigan, but that was
Well,
very
shenanigans can be good. They
eye-opening.
can be good, bad, or indifferent. It just
Yeah.
depends on, the human condition, how you're looking at it and holding it. And speaking of
Hmm.
which,
Yes.
I haven't heard a new album, but I heard there's all this drama.
Mm.
Apparently, she took a sample from Khaleesi's music from years ago and put it, and it's on the album. And they didn't talk.
Mm.
And this is what I was getting today. I don't know if it's true that
Okay.
they didn't contact Khalees. They didn't say this is what we're doing or what do you think. It is kind of it's on there, right?
Hmm.
And so it's all this stuff around.
Oh.
Did she take it? Did she quit? Whatever,
Hmm.
And I was like, oh.
Yeah. They must be like, well, we'll just pay them if it's an issue. Like they know they must be like, we're fine. Like we want it on the album. If they have an issue with it, we'll pay them.
Maybe that's what I was thinking. And then I'm thinking, this might be a sign because I love Khalees. Since the day she came
Mm,
out, I always thought she was. I used to have all of her CDs, and I used to play them in my car when I had my last job. The first year that I was there in 2016, I used to ride around with my coworker. He was like,
mhm.
"Please don't play Khalees again."
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
And I was like, she is, she's just it to me. Now she's cooking and she's got this
Hmm.
big this farm or what have you. So I'm going to get her. I'm putting that out there too. I'm going to get her on Visionaries and Truth Tellers. I've got to get her
Ooh.
on there and do like
Hmm.
an hour and just say, I mean, we could talk an hour just about food.
Yeah, yeah.
But just, I mean, her cookbook, the fact that she talked about it. She mentioned this recipe. This was years ago.
Hmm.
She made something. This is when she was married to Nas, and she was talking about she had made this dinner and what it
Mm.
was. And I kind of figured it out and went to the market and bought the materials for it and made my version of it
Yeah.
for the person I was seeing at that time. So
Mm.
we have a long history.
Oh goodness.
He's from Harlem. I used to live in Harlem, love living in Harlem all the time I lived there. So yeah, I'm gonna get her. So get ready. She will be on. I'm putting that out
Oh,
there now to the universe. She will be uh, a guest for at least an hour and a half,
yes.
if we can take it.
Hmm.
Miss
Hmm.
Khalees on Visionaries and Truth Tellers before the end of the year, before the end
Amazing.
of 2022. That's my
Hmm.
proclamation. Okay, so I'm out of here. We've done our 15. We've gone a little over 15 minutes. That's fine.
Hmm.
Done our check in. Have a great wedding. Where can folks reach you? Where can they find you? And then I'll go.
Yeah, you can find me at Malaya Music everywhere, burnthemanualproductions.com, all of the above.
Okay, you can find me at my website, anthony-carter.com, for all of your reading and literature needs.
Hmm.
Anthony-carter.com. Also, Burn the Manual Productions, which is our production company, and where we do a lot of the visual stuff, the videos and that type of thing.
Yeah, we have a new
And I'm on Twitter
video.
too. I'm on Twitter all day, every day, learning and doing all kinds
Yeah.
of things. So proclaiming now that I'm going to get a job in financial services for to help communities
Mm-hmm.
get their finances in order. I'm going to be paid a lot of money,
Mm-hmm.
at least 70, 80 grand a year. It's going to be flexible. They're
Yes.
going to love, appreciate, and respect me. I will love, appreciate, respect them. And Miss
Mm-hmm.
Khalees will be on my show before the end of our show. Let me back up. Miss Khalees will be on
Mm-hmm.
our show, Visionaries and Truth Tellers, before the end of 2022. All
Love it.
right, folks, stay safe, stay in the house. There's a new strain of you know what out there. And now
Mm-hmm.
we
Yeah.
got monkeypox, a monkey paw, whatever.
Oh
So stay
no.
away from that too. Stay hydrated. Keep those immunity, immunity, immune
Mm-hmm.
systems
Mm-hmm.
strong and healthy. I will see you all soon. Have a great time. Thank
See
you.
ya.